Good morning, guys. Welcome to this Monday, August 25th. And I guess Powell said something good on Friday, right? He had to say something good because the market just took off like a rocket ship. It didn't it pretty much happened right in a very short time period, and then he just stalled and went sideways from there. But nice move to the upside, definitely. Let's see if they can hold on to this, or if it's going to turn into a retracement day today. I mean, that's going to be the big question. Now, you have to touch on little fish report there. I mean, the fishing is a love-hate relationship with the ocean for sure. So we did 186 nautical miles. That's quite a distance. Uh, and you know, with right in the area where the fish is at, you didn't see much fish, and you didn't catch anything on the blind on trawling. and uh, and then the big heavy fog rolled in, kind of shut down. It's in the late afternoon, fish starts popping up, but then the fog rolled in, you couldn't see shit. So it's like oh man. So we tried. They did our best. We had a shot at casting at some fish, but it's nothing with stuck. And then of course, waking up in San Clemente Island, whole island is covered in a big freaking storm or a system. It's lightning flashing everywhere. It's like great. Sitting in a boat, bopping around there by the island. That was something. That was the trip. Anyway, so enough of that. That's a love-hate relationship. And after a while, you come home, it's like you catch one fish, everything changes. The whole thing is changed after that. If you don't catch a fish, it's like, ah, screw it, I'm going to sell the boat, I'm done. And then you wait another week and you're like, okay, let's do it again. So, love-hate relationship, that's for sure. Anyway, so looking at the news, we have coming out this week. This morning, we at 8:30, Chicago Fed National Activity Index. We have at 10 o'clock we get new home sales and Dallas Fed manufacturing at 10:30. So a little bit of news this morning. Um, Tomorrow we get the durable goods, housing data, consumer confidence. Wednesday, not much coming out on Wednesday. Thursday we get the GDP read, jobless claims, corporate profits, pending home sales. And then interesting enough, on Friday we get the personal income number. And in that we get that PCE inflation read as well. So we got a little bit of stuff going on there. But we'll see. I think the bigger question today is going to be what kind of follow through. No, Mihail, you cannot. It's going to be what it's going to be. Good news is it wasn't blowing a whole lot. It wasn't like really windy. It's Saturday afternoon, wind came up, but we were on our way back at that point. But when you're out that far, when it's there's no protection at all. So when it starts blowing, it gets pretty gnarly pretty quick. We had a great conditions out there. Just that freaking fog which rolled in kind of screwed things up a bit. Anyway, so looking at this, so the question is really continuation on the Powell dynamic here. It's whatever he said was good. Market reacted very positively to it, and we'll see if we can get. I would expect some pullback. We're getting that in here in overnight, but question is if they're going to start retracing this whole thing or what's going to happen with it. I think we can key in on this area, the 6450s. That's a low volume area. They take that out to trade back down to the 6400s. Well, then we retrace the whole move up here almost. So I'm going to watch that there. So the 6450s, and I think the lower edge there, that's 6440. And let me see here. So I would start off looking to buy against that 6460s, 6455s, 6440s for rotations back up. And below 40s, I would take off that long bias and go back more range. But at that point, I think they're right back down in this lower range. They may still retrace further, but it's just going to be a little bit less. And this first level, I would look to buy against for a pullback. But if they go further than that, I think they're just back range bound. And this you can see this whole area. The lower edge of this range is going to be down here at the 6300 to 6330s. And if that comes out, I think with this whole upper area gets compromised. Right now, they've been trading back and forth pretty violently, back and forth in this area. And we'll see if they can hold on to this. It's interesting. So So starting off with a slight bias to the upside given Friday's action. Let's see if they can hold on to it. There could be a short in here on the retracement trade if they start retracing, hopping on a short if they take out that 55 level for rotation down to the 40s. Could certainly be a trade to look for if you can get a good trade location and a good setup. But it is uh, I would still be leaning towards the long side, even if that's happening, looking for a buying opportunity at the 40s here. But below 40s, I'm kind of say, okay, fine, that's backing off a little bit too far now. Are we going to be back range bound? Still looking for buying opportunities against the 30s, against the 20s here, all the way down to potentially the 60. This is 63. This is 6400. So I was still looking for buying opportunities down here, but I would not, at that point, you're pretty much in the range band mode, so not as aggressively. Because at this point, if you're on a short, you can just ride that short down here if they keep knocking this down. But I would be, if any short, I would be waiting for this area, this 55 to come out into before I try a short trade. And still looking to buy against that 40s. And below that one, not as aggressively, but still looking to buy against the 30s, the 15s down to the 6400s. And below 6400s, and then, okay, shit, then something is up, you know. Not sure that's going to be the case. I'm going to be optimistic about keeping this little momentum to the upside, maybe intact. So market had a little euphoria there on Friday. So that's how we get started on the on the ES on the way up. If they start taking this back up again, I would look for short setups against the 75s and the 85s up to the 95s. Just a little bit of caution. You know, we are still leaning towards the long side of the market. So if they probe down here below that 55 level, hold, start trading back up again, I would look for, I would just look to lean in on the long side at the 75s, but still look for potential short setups. I mean, they could be short there, should be short at 85, could be short at 95. If they take out that 75 though, I would look for a potential long direction to the upside and see if they can take it higher. But as I said, still looking for shorts against 85, 95, just not as aggressively at that time. All right. So that's the ES to get started. The biggest question is really, are we going to see continuation from Friday's move, or are they going to just retrace that whole thing right back down again? All right, so bonds and the Nasdaq. So bond market is just sitting here in a range. They have been here. There was a little bit of a reaction on Friday. Not a crazy reaction. They went from 14 up to 15. So 1 point. That's not a big reaction. It's a nice directional move, but not really a real big move. And you can see they would have been trading higher there. It looks like they were trading higher quite a bit here before that last move happened. So not a huge reaction on the bonds, but definitely they traded higher. Yields came up and it came down a little bit, and then retraced most of it already. So we're still pretty much in the range on the bonds. So I would just start off range bound on the bonds still. At this point, I'm going to sell strength on 1420, 24, 115, 115.04. Looking to buy weakness, 1410, 1405, 114s for rotations back up. Maybe include the 1324s. So three, maybe four levels down, three, maybe four levels up, and that's pretty much it. So this is not directional. This is more back and forth kind of stuff. Nasdaq though, nice directional move. Not quite up to the highs, but nice directional move to the upside. Definitely turned around this move. They were down here flirting with the 23,000. Looked like we was getting pretty gnarly here, but that turned everything around. Now we're right back up in the middle of this range here on the Nasdaq. So I would be looking at this the same way, looking to buy a weakness. Nasdaq is it's not up at the upper edges though. So it's pretty much in the middle, but I would look for that to move to the upside still. And if to start retracing further and the head, let me see, the level here is That's 360. So 360. Yeah, so they start trading below this area right there. I would probably key in below that 420s. So if they start retracing past 420s, I'll take off the long bias and go back range bound. If they trade down below the 360s, we're already down in this lower range. So they're going to buy weakness at against 460s, 420s, below 420s, taking off the long bias and looking for a retracement trade all the way down. And still looking to buy against that 360, the 300s, the 270s, but not as aggressively. At that point, we shifted our bias already. So we'll see. Now, hopefully, this wasn't just a one-off, and the whole thing just it kind of turns around and goes right back down to the lows here again. But anything like that could happen. Anything reaction like the news, you just have to take it with a grain of salt until you see what if they're going to be follow through or there's going to be some complete retracement. But if you trade down here below that 360s, I think we have a good shot at trading right back here to that attractor at the 23,200, the 220s again. So definitely, they could be shorts in here as they bust through the support areas if they do, and I would try to get short on those. But if that's early weakness we're looking at, it's going to be pretty quick, and it's probably going to be difficult to get on a good short there. But it's worth a shot if you can get good trade location and not manage to get shaken out. All right. So that's the Nasdaq. Finally, looking at oil and gold. And gold, let me see, where's my gold? There's my gold. Didn't do much of a reaction. They were trading still around about this 3,400 level. Nice move to the upside though still. And the question is still the same on gold. Are they going to retrace back here to the 3380s? Or are they going to start heading back up again? Try to extend to the upside. Looking at gold, I would be more inclined for them to retrace, but we'll take it as it comes. But looking, I would start off on the long side, looking to buy against weakness, 3406s. But I would say below 3406s, I would look for a short trade all the way down here to that 3390s. So I'm a little bit more aggressive on the short side on gold, I think. On the way up, looking for shorts against 3415s and 3420s, but not as aggressively. The same story there. So gold starting from the long side, same as the ES. Let's see if they can extend to the upside. If they cannot, if they take out that 3406s, I would be more aggressive on the long side. Oh, sorry, short side. I said short side. I would be more aggressive on the short side to look for that retracement trade. All right. So that's gold. It all hinges on the big potential retracement or not for this morning. And oil, yes, grinding higher slowly. It looks like they're grinding higher. Not going to be no big reactions from yesterday, from Friday's announcement, but I would just stay on the long side on oil and see they're grinding up here to that 64.20, 64.50, 64. This 65 is going to be that upper area, but they're back up here again. If you look at a bigger picture up here against that reverse retest. So they take out that, I would say the 65s now. So they take out 65s. I would be more inclined to lean in on the long side, but they could be short. I had a level in here 64.50 before, but it hasn't been out there for a while, so I took it off. And but anywhere in between here could be a potential reverse retesting this big ledge. So it could certainly be anywhere. It could be a resistance here. So that is where we are on oil. So start off on the long side, look to buy weakness. I would look to buy against the 63.90s, the 60s down to the 63.30s for rotation back up again. So that's oil. You get started starting from the long side on that one. On gold, starting from the long side, but watch that edge, the 34.0506. That comes out. We look for a potential short there. Back to the ES, and I forgot to say something on the Nasdaq. They're on the way up. If they start trading up on the Nasdaq, the shorts I'm looking at there is against the 540s, the 600s, and the 650s. So, but if you are still leaning long, I would look for shorts with a little bit of caution there. But still, those could be nice short support areas for rotations back down again. But if they start taking out that level, the 420s on the Nasdaq, that's when I take off the long bias. So 420 is the level on the Nasdaq. But if they had probed down and start trading back up again, I would look for short setups against the well, 510 would be aggressive, but 540s, 590s up to that 650 or 640, 650 level. All right. So I think the bigger theme for today is really are we getting follow through on Friday's little pop. And if we are not, I would look for more and a little bit more aggressively on the short side for retracement trades and see how far they want to retrace it. All right, so that's the more start off. That's how we start off the morning. So good trading, guys, and I'll see you guys back at 11:30 for the next update. Later.